Hey, this is Jeremiah with KnoCommerce. So I gave a talk a few days ago about data and the way that data has changed over time. And something I've come to realize is that a lot of people don't really understand how pervasive the blocking of ads and ad tracking actually is. So iOS 14.5 came out, I guess it's been over 6 months now since that came out. And there was a lot of panic around that, which is totally understandable. I am not condemning anybody for that at all. But it's basically added a bunch of additional limitations in terms of how data can be tracked on Apple devices specifically. But this is not a new thing by any means. So everybody's familiar with ad blockers. Those have been around a long time. What I think a lot of people don't realize is that ad blockers actually have the ability to not all blockers, but many ad blockers have the ability to block the tracking data as well. And so I'm actually going to show you real quick a browser called Brave that I use. I'm a big privacy advocate, honestly, and so I love using privacy-friendly tools for myself. And I know there's a lot of people who do that as well. So I'm going to show you exactly what Brave does in the context of Google Analytics and how the 36 million monthly active users that are on Brave are not showing up in your reporting. They probably never have, and they probably never will. At least not your Google Analytics and any sort of browser side reporting. When it comes to your actual purchase data, of course, they're going to be there because you have a purchase record on that customer, but you can't track their behavior. And so I just am real quick going to show you this. So Brave, it's a browser that's been around for a couple of years now, founded by Brendan Eich, the guy who started Mozilla back in the day. And it's basically Chrome. It operates exactly the same way as Chrome. In fact, it shows up as Chrome in the if you do have tracking enabled. And something like Google Analytics, you'll see it come through as Chrome or Firefox. But in most cases, it's actually blocked. So as you can see, Brave has actually doubled its number of users over the last year. So August 2020 to August 2021 went from 18 million to 36 million monthly active users. By default, everything is going to be blocked when you are looking at Google Analytics data. So let me just show you real quick what this looks like. So this is Google Analytics. This is me on a website that uses Google Analytics. And so here's a page view from a few minutes ago. This then, let me show you what happens here. So I'm going to refresh this page. I'll browse around a little bit. I have blocking enabled at the moment. So Brave shields are up. This can be customized a little bit, but basically everything's being blocked. None of my activity on this website is being tracked, at least on the front end. Any sort of server side things could be tracked, and also any sort of revenue generating things that I do because I'm entering my email address and my address and all of that. But otherwise, it's going to be blocked. So I'm browsing through. Nothing is showing up here in Google Analytics real time. Now, if I go back and disable the shields, now my data is going to show up. And so again, just to be very clear, by default, shields are disabled. Most people who use Brave are enabled. Most people who use Brave are going to be browsing the internet with shields enabled, and will only disable them if they have a specific reason for doing so. So now you can see my data is coming through. So all this to say, the way that iOS 14 and what's happened with that is not really a new thing. This is a thing that's continuing. And this is really why we've built the platform that we have built at KnoCommerce. And so I'm not going to make like a huge plug in this video. I'll do that in my tweet. Don't worry about it. But really, that's why we do attribution the way that we do. Because at the end of the day, the way that the world is moving, the only way to know for sure how your customer first found you is to ask them. And frankly, that's always been the case. Even with click tracking, even with cookie tracking, you're dealing with different devices. You're dealing with somebody could have found you 2 years ago and their data is not going to come through in some sort of customer journey. So if you want to know how your customer found you, you have to ask. That is the only way. And so, yeah, just wanted to make this little video, show you exactly what's going on, and also give you hopefully a little bit of peace of mind that this is not really a new thing. This has been going on. And I think a lot of what we're seeing right now, obviously there's lower performance in many cases, but I think probably the scariest thing is the tracking of the performance in different ad networks. And that a lot of that's going to normalize, and the way that you attribute revenue just needs to go back to the basics and the fundamentals that people have been using for centuries. So thanks so much. Let me know if you have any questions, and talk soon.